What's up, guys? It's Gamers of the Republic here, bringing you Battlefield 3 commentary, which I have been promising for like 2 weeks. I just never got what I thought was good enough gameplay for it, because some of you may not know, Battlefield's a pretty hard game. Explosions, tanks, snipers, assholes. You know, it's just the works. But let's get on to today's commentary, which is what this world is coming to. And there's been a lot of changes to this world in the past 10 years. There's been a lot of changes this year. There's been a lot of craziness happening this year. There's been a lot of craziness happening in the last 10 years. And lately, there's been a large amount of revolutions in the world of today. A lot of countries are. You got Syria, you got Libya, you got Egypt, you got Iceland, you got, I'm pretty sure Turkey went through one, and like Greece, and all these other countries are just going through revolutions. And it's astounding, because it's all just like at once, like all within close to each other. And I was just like, what the Iceland? I didn't even know they had enough people in Iceland to do a revolution. They're just such a, like, nobody ever thinks of them. They're always so, like, they're there, but they never do anything. So everyone was, like, shocked, including myself. And I didn't even know they had problems over there. I thought it was just, like, awesome. Nope, apparently they got problems. And they, made a revolution, and they ended up being new government. And boom, goes the dynamite, is all I have to say. But, yeah, but there's also like Egypt. They overthrew the Muslim Brotherhood, and which in a way is a good thing. They were very violent people, but our president was apparently doing a lot of work with them. But yeah, let's get on to our president. Our president, I'm sorry, he's a dumbass. I'm sorry if that offends any of you out there, but I truly think he is quite the idiot. He's spent like, what, $5-6 trillion almost, I think it was, which is an astounding amount of money, and we don't even know where it goes because he keeps cutting stuff. He cut the military's fireworks for the 4th of July, and everybody's like, what the fuck, they're celebrating what they're fighting for, and you're just, no, you can't have that. He also cut the military's meals down to 2 meals a day, which is bullshit. I mean, prisons get better treated than the prisoners. People that have broken the law, and some of them have even committed murder, and they get better treated than the people that are being over in a hellhole in Iraq and all over the world trying to fight for our freedoms. Or some people might say oil, which it's part of it is, but it is for our freedoms. And that there's another controversy in that itself is the Iraqi war against the Taliban. And when we first went in after 9/11, it was, people thought, oh yeah, it's good that we needed to get her back. But now as it's gone on, more and more people are starting to think, why are we still there? And the answer to that is because if we back out before we destroy the terrorist organizations over there, they're gonna come back. They hate our guts. And they will come back and they will continue terrorist attacks unless we keep them preoccupied overseas. The war will come to America if we don't, and it would be very bloody and very terrible, and we don't want that anywhere near us, which is why they're still there. And a lot of people don't seem to understand that, and it's just how it has to be to keep America safe and to maintain the lifestyles that we are used to as Americans. We're very privileged people in America. We have basically everything. We account for 70% of consumer products around the world. So basically we get everything we want, and we don't really take into effect many other people. And it's a lifestyle that is, if we don't have our military, is very, very, very in jeopardy. And when people say, oh, we don't need the military, we can do this peacefully. Oh, no. There are people out there that hate our guts, and it's not just a couple countries. It's a lot of them. And it's because we have everything, and we tend to do anything we have to get what we want. And I have too many problems with that. It's our country. Other countries can do that if they want, and I can say by far we are not a terrible country. I'm a very patriotic person, but they're compared to some of those countries out there like North Korea and all those other countries that just treat their people like shit. I'd say we're pretty good. Uh, we treat our people good. We're the only country in the world that has 100% of people with running water and 100% education rate or something like that. It was like 97, somewhere in there. A very high education rate. Even if the people who get the education do not take advantage of it. We have too many of those. But yeah, let's get on to some other world news. Recently, the Zimmerman trial was a huge thing. People were rioting in the streets over the fact that a guy he was a neighborhood watch guy, and there was this kid walking down the street, and he kept looking over his back or something. I'm not quite sure of the whole story, but he thought he was suspicious, so he calls the police. And they said, all right, we'll send someone out there. Do not get out. And he's like, I'm going to go out. And he did. And eventually he did, and he confronted him, and the kid ran home, so he ran after him, and he found his house somehow. And Trayvon, the kid that was murdered, then proceeded to run outside and start wailing on Zimmerman, which was not very good judgment on his part. Even to the fact that there was some guy following him. You should not be out there wailing on a guy. And once he did that, he did end up shooting him. And everyone was screaming, oh, it was murder, it was this, it was that. But it wasn't. He attacked him, which gave him the right to defend himself legally under American law in the Constitution. He was defending himself fair and square. And some people don't seem to get the point. They're like, oh, black kid was murdered. Oh, no. Oh, it's racist. You're like, no, he's Hispanic. If it was a white man, maybe you could plead racist. But he is not white. He is Hispanic. And you can't really do that. So it was not a racist. It was not hate crime. It was none of that crap. It was self-defense and just poor judgment on both their parts that led to Trayvon's death. And all this rioting is bullshit, because there's plenty of other things that we could be rioting over, as in maybe the NSA tapping everything that we do, the IRS targeting certain political groups, the millions of people on welfare, and even more on food stamps, all the homeless in America. There are plenty of other things that you could be rioting, and yet people choose to riot about some bullcrap trial and forget about everything else. And it's just typical American brainwash by the media. Just people out there, don't even bother to listen to what the media says. 90% of it is bullshit, and we all know it. And there are very, very few news reports that are 100% truthful. There is usually at least one lie in everything. It could be the littlest thing, like, oh, the stock market went back up. Oh, it went up this. And there's probably a lie somewhere in there. Because our medias are full of complete shit. Sorry about that. But, it just floors me that people would riot over something like that. And that's just the world we live in, I suppose. But actually, a couple days ago, it was about a week after the Trayvon trial, a car flipped over, and their family was trapped inside. And actually, George Zimmerman and another man actually came to rescue the people. And it was the first time anyone had seen Zimmerman since the trial, and that was what he was doing. He was helping people out. He didn't see the accident, and right after he left again, and hasn't been seen since, really. He's been laying very, very low lately. Even his lawyer is quoted saying that my client will not be safe in the streets. He will not be safe anywhere. And he's not going to be able to have a normal life now, just because of ignorant people trying to track him down and kill him. And I find that terrible. I mean, the guy already has to live with the fact that he ended a life, and now you're going to try and kill him himself, even though he already went through the court of law and he was proved not guilty. And I feel terrible for him. So that's just how this country works. And let's talk about our own freaking government. Um, as I kind of mentioned earlier about the things that we should be writing about, the NSA is now going to be recording all conversations and stuff like that, looking for keywords to terrorist operation. And I don't think that I find that very, very scary, and I don't like the fact that they are going to be listening into everything. And I find that a violation of our rights, but somehow it is legal, and it just floors me. And the guy that did it was his name Snowden, is currently trying to find refuge in a different country. I'm not sure if he has found one yet, but he was trying last time I heard. And I don't think he's being very successful about it either, but it looked like he might have been going to Brazil. I don't know if he went to Brazil, but that was the most likely the last time I checked. And I hope he gets out. The government is calling him a traitor. Personally, I think he's a hero. He exposed a huge flaw and plot from our government to us, and I think that's a great duty of his. Let's get on to other things. The IRS scandal happened a while ago. That was complete bullshit. They're targeting Tea Party and some Republican members for not allowing them to get stuff and treating them terribly. Just because of that, it was very discriminative. And the IRS is just full of shit in general. They spent $70,000 to get a picture of Abraham Lincoln put up, painted. And it's like, why do you need $70,000 to have a painting of Abraham Lincoln done? Just pull up a $5 bill and draw it off that, and then give the rest of the money back to the taxpayers, where it belongs. God dang it! But of course they wouldn't do that because they're selfish and corporate men. And this government's just, ugh. I don't like this government at this point. It needs to be revamped, or something needs to be done. Because money keeps getting spent, we have no place to get the money, taxes keep rising, gas prices keep rising, everything keeps rising except wages. Like, dang it. And it's just that one little thing that isn't rising. And that's a problem for consumers everywhere, and it's hurting our economy, and blah blah blah. If it hurts our economy, it hurts the world's economy, because without us, there is no economy. We account for 70% of consumption. If we pop that out, the world's screwed. Like, literally, we are the economy. Keep that in mind. We hold a lot of power here. But, recently America has finally become the number one made in America car is now the Ford F-150. Yay! Up until that point, it was the Toyota Camry. And it was the number one made in America car for like 4 years straight. Until this year when Ford's finally like, you know, we're getting out of America. We need to do something about this. So they started making the F-150 in America more, which is awesome. And if I had to buy a car, that'd be the one I'd be buying, because that's American. Most as American as it gets. It's a truck. It's an American car company. And it's actually made in America. Keep them in hand. Keep them in hand. So proud. But it's kind of pathetic how we praise that. But I'm going to wrap up this video, so please comment, like, rate, and subscribe. And leave suggestions in the comments. Thanks.